Well, it was a real privilege to be part of Sustainability Week here in Abu Dhabi. It's obviously a major global event. There was 13 world leaders here today, but it was a real privilege to be able to speak. And I wanted to talk a lot about renewable energy, because New Zealand is a country that has 88% of our energy is already renewable, and we're one of the top 5 countries in the world, but we also want to double the amount of renewable energy we have in our country. And that is obviously something that is of interest, obviously, here to Abu Dhabi and also the UAE. So it's been a fantastic time to be here. It's been absolutely marvellous. Yeah, so in New Zealand we have an 88% renewable energy mix. A large part of our energy comes from hydro, dams, also from geothermal, but also from solar and wind. And so we have a very high renewables component of our energy mix. But what we want to be able to do is a lot of what has been talked about, if you think about COP28 here in the UAE consensus, which was how do we triple the amount of renewable electricity in the world. We want to double the amount of renewable energy in New Zealand over the next few years. And so for us, we're putting a huge effort into more investment into solar farms, more investment into wind, more investment into geothermal, so that we can actually drive even more and higher levels of renewable energy. Well, what we've done with so separately today we also signed a SEPA and a bilateral investment treaty, which is actually just a way in which we can actually formalise our economic relationship between the UAE and also between New Zealand. These are two countries that are very like-minded. We as New Zealand think of the UAE as our most trusted partner in this part of the world. And we're very similar in many ways. We're small, advanced economies that want to continue to grow. And so there's a lot that we have in common. We're very different in other ways. We're very far away from each other, but we have complementary strengths. And so it's about actually how can we work together. So in my conversations today with His Highness and with the Crown Prince, and also with different ministers and also sovereign wealth fund chairs and CEOs, a lot of it has been about opportunities to co-invest together in the renewable energy space and other areas as well. Yeah, so for New Zealand it's a big deal because we are a country of 5 to 6 million people. We end up exporting a lot of our goods out into the world, and this just means that we can send what is, I think, the highest quality food and beverage products in the world. The very best products come from New Zealand, and we're able to help, say, the UAE with its food security aims as well. You have very discerning customers and consumers here. They want the highest quality food and beverage products, and that comes from New Zealand. And so for us to be able to export more of our goods and services to you is actually very good for you from a food point of view, food security point of view, and obviously very good to New Zealand because our 1/4 of our jobs in our country are tied to international trade. And so it creates more opportunities and back at home in New Zealand as well. And we have a big ambition to double the amount of our exports over the next 10 years as well. So it's good, a win-win in the sense of it creates opportunity for our products to come into the UAE marketplace, food and beverage in particular, but also for us to work together in other areas like advanced aviation, space, renewable energy projects as well, and about inbound investment to New Zealand. Well, we've actually haven't set any specific targets. We already today do about $1.3 billion worth of two-way trade, so it's relatively small, but that's a huge opportunity because you have some of the most discerning, high-quality customers on earth here in the UAE. We think we sell the most impressive and highest quality product, food and beverages, and those are products that we know will have huge demand here, given that the UAE imports, 90% of your food comes from overseas. So, we can help the UAE achieve its goal of food security, and at the same time, it helps New Zealand exporting companies as well. Yeah, so from New Zealand, what the UAE imports is about 70% of the trade is around dairy products. There's about another 20% that is around industrial products, machinery and equipment, and the balance is really around red meat, horticulture and tourism services as well. So that's the big mix of the products and services that people are buying on the UAE from New Zealand. Well, I mean, we have two very good countries that have been in a very strong relationship for 40 years. We've had 40 years of diplomatic relations this year. This is now the next level by having the SEPA and the BIT. It means that we've actually got the architecture to continue to encourage trade and investment between both our countries. So it's a very exciting development, and we're really proud of it. And it's been a real pleasure and a real privilege to be able to work with the leadership here in the UAE because we negotiated this agreement in a very, very record amount of time. We found in the same way we as a small country are very agile, we found the same with our UAE friends and partners as well. So I think it's going to be a win-win for both countries, and we have two fantastic countries and we want both countries and all our people to do incredibly well. Yeah, look, we think there is huge opportunity to partner with the UAE around renewable energy. And the reason is that we already are very advanced in areas like hydro, like geothermal, solar and wind. Obviously the UAE has got a big drive around alternative and new energies as well, and has been at the leading edge of carbon capture and obviously a low carbon economy. And so I think the two of us working together actually can achieve a lot with our innovation, with innovation from the UAE, working together on joint ventures and projects, I think is very exciting. So it's a very exciting future as the UAE looks to double the size of its economy, as we look to double the size of our exports and to double the amount of renewable energy in our own country. I think the combination means that we've got two good partners that can collaborate very effectively together.